Hey, what's up guys, Gypsy, and we are back here today for ITL Week 1, kicking the season off with a match against Akki. So this is going to be a rematch of the finals from last season, which is pretty sick. And Akki himself has drafted a very solid team. It's certainly a team that I would draft, to be honest. This is something right out of, I guess my draft history. He's got Selly, Hydra, Nidoqueen, and you see he's got the Mega Guard there, which is obviously a big favourite of mine. Stuff like Keldeo, and then he's got stuff like Araquanid as well, which I can definitely respect. And the Licky in the back. Akki has made a ton of changes to his team in the first week with free agents, so you're probably not going to be seeing this kind of team from him again. He changed his Mega, he made a bunch of changes, but I'll let you guys go over to his channel and listen to him talk about that. So definitely go and check out his side of this game, and hear his thoughts on his trades that he made. But he made a lot of changes to his team. So this is the probably the last time we're going to see a team of this kind of structure from Akki. But with that being said, a very, very threatening team, and we're going to kick it off with the team that I'm rolling with this week. So first up we have the AV Slowking, and pretty decent switch into Mega Guard, rocking Iron Tail to 2KO that. Decent switch into Keld, can pivot into anything from Hydra, barring like a Band Crunch or something. And then we have obviously the Electric Seed Horlucha, SD, Acro, I think I'm like High Jump Kick, and I think I may have had Drain Punch on this set, something like that. Then we have, this is a... What is this? I didn't get to put a ton of time into this, unfortunately, this week, because I did have a lot going on with the MPL. But just trying to remember, this Bronzong was it was a heal block Psywave set, so it can limit Celesteel's ability to heal up with Leech Seed and prevent it from getting Lefty's recovery, pretty much putting it in further in range of Horlucha's +2 High Jump Kick, because max defense Celesteela takes a +2 High Jump Kick from Adamant Lucha after Rocks, which is just nuts. I love Selly, best one in the format without a question. But yeah, this Bronzong helps to kind of wear that thing down, put it in range. Then we have Scarf Sneasel, very solid versus this team. I can potentially lure in the Keld, knock that thing off, prevent it from being in irritation if it's like a Lefties variant. And it does help me revenge like a Scarfed Hydreigon. So yeah, not bad at all. Then we have Z, Fly, Coco. And then we have this Diancie is a physically offensive Diancie with Moonblast and Earth Power to catch the Nidoqueen, as well as Rock Polish in the back as well to function as a late game sort of sweeper in this game. So that's going to be it. It's not the greatest team in the world, but chances are we'll be playing Akki later on in this season anyway, so going to jump into it. He is going to lead off with Selly, as I do lead off with Sneasel. Sneasel covered any other lead he could really lead with, like a Scarfed Hydra. I'd be able to weaken that thing or just take it out right off the bat, even if it was a Scarf variant. I'd be able to pivot into, if you led with Guard, I could pivot into something like Bronzong or my Slowking. And if you led Nidoqueen, obviously this Sneasel threatens it out. But he leads off with Celesteela, and I'm just going to go out to my Slowking here as he fires off the Leech Seed. So yeah, was very tempted to knock there, but on the off chance that he just clicked Heavy Slam, which was a fair play as well, because nothing on my team really appreciates a Heavy Slam. Bronzong gets leeched the following turn. He could have just taken out my Scarfer there, so not trying to lose Sneasel to turn 1. I am going to just stay in here and Scald, as he does bring in his Guard and gets the regen trace with his ability. And now he's going to get some health back from the Leech. Here he's going to switch right out to the Hydra, as I do Scald once again. No reason not to. If he wanted to stay in, with Guard and Mega Evolve there, he would lose his ability to regen the following turn, because he'd lose the Trace ability. And if he went into Hydra, I could potentially get a burn, scout damage off on this Hydra, as his Hydra is now just going to click U-turn, as I do go out into my Coco here, which is fairly free. I do have U-turn on this Coco, I believe, as now he's going to bring in this Nidoqueen, and I am just going to go out to hide out into Zong, not showing U-turn there, because no point risking him potentially being Scarfed, and no point showing U-turn when I don't have to, when U-turn is going to do very little to this anyway. But I'm going to go to Zong here. The only kind of use in that would be revealing item, like revealing Fuse Black Sludge there. But now I'm going to go into my Bronzong, and I'm going to get my Rocks here, as he does fire up a Super Fang, so that's a nice way of wearing down yeah, just wearing down the bulk of my team, as right here I am going to catch him with the Gyro Balls. He does bring in the Hydro here, so now Hydro only has really one more switch on rocks, which is really nice for me. Was very tempted to stay in here as well, because I felt like U-turn was a pretty solid play on his part, but I am going to ultimately make the switch out to Slow King, as his U-turn damage previously had revealed him to be max attack, so like physical Hydro, which is pretty interesting. So now I'm going to go into my pivot in my Slow King, as he is going to U-turn out into his guard. And right here, my Slow King is just going to stay in here in Iron Tail, as I'm out of range of like Hyper Voice from guard there. And if he wanted to stay in, I got damage off, and he'd likely Mega there. He doesn't have to Mega turn 1 if his typing doesn't change, but he does ultimately make the switch out to Keld, and I'm going to miss the Iron Tail here, which is a little bit unfortunate because it would have given me information on this Keldio's spread. He ends up being max HP, and had I hit that Iron Tail, I would have been told that, and I would have played around this Keldio quite differently. But because he is lefties, like he could be offensive lefties, which is certainly a viable set. Allows him to take hits better from my Sneasel, allows him to take hits better from my Steel types in Bronzong, and yeah, it's just lefties is a pretty viable set versus me. But yeah, as I said, he is going to be max HP, and he's going to reveal the Toxic, and yeah, that's definitely going to be unfortunate. It's going to put my Slow King on a timer, and yeah, very clever bring. Max HP would have really tipped me off to that, but what are you going to do? He does get me there with a Toxic, as now I am going to switch out to Coco here, as his Keld is actually just going to sub up in my face, so he's going to be sub Toxic, Scald, maybe Protect on this Keld, as now my Coco is just going to U-turn out here. As this thing is a pretty big threat to my team. I can bring in my Slow King here to get off a Side Shock to break the sub, but yeah, pretty much breaking the sub is what I'm going to have to do. I'm probably going to have to sack off my Slow King just to break the sub of this Keld. Certainly an irritating one here for my team. So he is going to yeah, take me out here with the residual Toxic damage as I do break his sub, and this is going to give me my Coco back inside. So this turn I am going to Brave Bird, reason being Electric Terrain is still up, and I feel like whilst he could stay in and protect, he risks me potentially commanding up or doing something like that, subbing, and if he is like protecting, if he has me to be Electrium, that would go through protect. Him going near to Queen would allow me to go for a Brave Bird into a Z Brave Bird, really weakening that thing for Lucha, which is important. But he is just going to stay in here and protect, and that's going to run the terrain out, which is really nice for him, because now, because he's max HP Keld, he can chew any hit from this Coco, any electric attack, and I'm going to get him here by, not here. The following turn, after he protects against my Brave Bird, I am going to Roost up, expecting him to want to preserve this, because this Keld is pretty solid versus the team I have here. Obviously, it's killed by Coco, Lucha, and Diancie, but it's nice for the Sneasel, and he has really solid responses to the Coco in Nidoqueen. But he's actually going to stay in here and Scald, and he's going to get a crit there. Now that crit, it did 69%, would have done about, I want to say like 40 to 45, something in that range, without the crit, and that would have given me 2 more times to switch on rocks, which is, yeah, pretty unfortunate, but you know, that's the ITL curse. So I am going to get him here with a Z Brave Bird, as Keldeo is going to drop, and yeah, now things are looking pretty nice for my Sneasel. Obviously he's got Licky in the back, but nothing resists Ice now, so yeah, Icicle Crash is pretty solid here. Obviously Selly is really fat and he can take Icicle Crashes with ease, but if that thing is getting chipped, that's just nicer for my Diancie and my Holucha. So now he's going to bring in his Nidoqueen here, as I am going to U-turn out. I'm going to go into my Bronzong here, as he is going to Super Fang once again, and I believe this turn I do catch him with the Psywave, I want to say. Yeah, I think I Psywave here. Yeah, I Psywave him down, and he's going to bring in his Selly. Now this is really nice. I do expect him to Leech Seed here. I think he's going to be Air/Heavy Slam, Leech Seed, and Protect, or something like that. So right here I am going to click Heal Block. Unfortunately, Leech Seed doesn't prevent me from taking damage, but it does stop him from getting any form of recovery from that Leech Seed. So right here I am going to stay in here and Gyro Ball, expecting him to make the play out into his Hydreigon, because if this Celesteela gets any more weakened, it will be in range of my Holucha's +2 High Jump Kick. It's actually already pretty much in range, but if he let this thing get weakened, I could bring Hawlucha in the following turn, SD up, and just click Drain Punch really, and he'd be in a really tough spot. Obviously, I'd have to bring in Coco before I brought in Lucha to bring up the terrain for it to pop the seed, but I don't really need a ton of speed at this stage in the game, like unless he is Scarf Tighter, which I felt like he was. But he is going to let me get a little bit of chip off on this Celesteela, as now he is going to kill my Bronzong. Now, had I also clicked Psywave there, he would have been in range at +1 for this Wild Charge to kill from Coco, but he is no longer in range because Selly is a monster, and he chews that, and he is going to take me out here with Heavy Slam. Now, Coco is down, but the terrain is up, and Selly is weakened. So, at this stage, I'm feeling pretty good because Hawlucha, if it can SD up on anything, it can live an Ice Beam from a defensive, Nidoqueen, and it can pretty much take out the rest of his team at +2. So, looking pretty good, and I will be able to outspeed the Hydra because I do have my Burden Boost. But right here, instead of Pursuiting, which would have been a fairly solid play, like had I Pursuited here, I realistically could have just SD'd up the following turn. Like, had I Pursuited and he stayed in and killed me, I could have SD'd up with Hawlucha. I live in air / after rocks. I could have clicked SD and yeah, won the game from there because, let me think. No, it wouldn't have necessarily won the game because I would have had to take a Heavy Slam, and then Nidoqueen would have been out of range at the range of health it's at from a +2 acro. So no, I did make the right play here. I knock, and I expect him to sack off the Stella here, but he actually preserves it. So he is going to go out to Nidoqueen. I think I Icicle Crash here, and I missed the crash. And I this was annoying in the game because I really felt like this did matter. But little did I know he actually has Healing Wish Guard in the back. So the reason he preserved a 9% Celesteela is because he just wants to get Gardevoir in on my Sneasel so he can Healing Wish it up. Granted, he has to dodge Icicle Crash flinches, but he still has a chance to Healing Wish that thing up. So right here, he is going to click Rocks, as you'll see here, the Icicle Crash damage would have 2KO'd him if I'd hit the first one. But Aki's going to just click Rocks here because he doesn't want this game to be decided by, well, it's already been a pretty hacks game so far, but he doesn't want to be further, crippled by hacks. So he is going to click Rocks there. So class act from Akki. But right here, he is just going to bring in his guard. Now, I'm feeling pretty good about this because, like, whilst the Icicle Crash miss sucked for me at this stage of the game because I would have had one more turn of terrain, so I would have got this Icicle Crash damage off on this Gardevoir and then been able to click Acrobatics the following turn and revenge the guard with my Hawlucha. Assuming guard killed Sneasel here, and yeah, that was pretty frustrating. But as you're gonna see, I am gonna click the Icicle Crash here, and I'm gonna miss once again, and this sucks, as he is gonna reveal the Healing Wish. So this could have gone a couple of ways. Had I not missed the first Icicle Crash versus Queen, I would have 2KO'd that on the switch. He would have brought in guard the following turn. I would have had another turn of Electric Terrain after Sneasel potentially dying. But Akki was adamant in clicking Healing Wish, so unless I got a Icicle Crash flinch there versus the guard, he would have ultimately been able to revive the Celesteela regardless. So he is going to bring back the Selly, and because I do miss the crash, I lose any chance in this late game of being able to prevent the guard from Healing Wishing up the Celesteela, as now he is going to take out my Sneasel with the Heavy Slam, and Selly the God is going to be able to withstand a +2 Hawlucha's high jump kick, and yeah, that's gonna be the game. So high jump kick does only 55 at +2. That's adamant Lucha to +1 Selly. Selly is insane. This is why I love this thing so much. As Diancie is just gonna miss out on taking it out with the Diamond Storm, and that is gonna be the game. So yeah, very interesting week 1 against Akki. Certainly unfortunate, like a little bit of hacks in this game, but I'm not going to blame it on the hacks. Akki prepped and played well. The stuff that happened in this game was definitely out of his control. And yeah, there's not much you can do about that. That's just good prep on Aki's part, and unfortunately Icicle Crash does miss. We saw last season with Aero, Stone Edge missed just about every time I needed it to hit. So yeah, sometimes I think that kind of stuff happens, but that's gonna be an L for week 1, and we're gonna try and bounce back next week. We do have, I believe, we're facing off against Anthony next week, so that should be good fun. One thing I do want to say about this is I do have a bunch of transactions I've made after this sort of in week 2. So my team, whilst very fun, is inherently flawed. It's got huge structural flaws in it, and I've made some changes to kind of patch up those weaknesses. It's still certainly fun and offensive, but it does now have a very solid backbone to it, which I think is going to, serve it well in the coming weeks. So I hope you guys are looking forward to those changes. I'll kind of point them out as I upload the future games. I won't sort of announce them all at once, because this week 1 team of mine is very different to the team I'll be using in week 2 and week 3. So I'll get to those when we get to it, but hope you guys did enjoy. Drop a like if you did. Go check out Akki's side of the match, and I'll catch you guys next time.